again, you know, going back to 2007 when I was casting Iron Man, and Kevin Feige over there said, you know, this is all going to lead to where we're going to have all of these franchises come together, and we're going to do something unprecedented in entertainment, and we're going to make this Avengers movie. And I just remember I would get nervous about it and excited about it and doubtful of it.
I'm bringing the party to you.
You know, I already had a history with Sam, and I was really wanting to capitalize on that. And by the time Chris had launched their individual franchises with success and charisma, and by the time we had Mark, I was like, wow, you know what, this is really going to happen. So just being a worker amongst workers is kind of where I started out, and it was nice to not really have to carry a movie. I think everyone really is equal in this venture.
Yeah, it's so horrible. I give all these, I'm like, you know, if Hulk, you do this impossible thing, Thor, you bottleneck a portal, and Iron Man fly over here, and I'll take the stairs.
You here with a mission, sir? Trying to get me back in the world?
Trying to save it.
Wasn't born a superhero. This didn't happen to him by accident. He was chosen, and it was for those reasons, values and morals. He puts other people, other causes ahead of himself, and it's something to aspire to.
Hey guys, how you doing? Dan Devey with thecinemassource.com. First of all, congratulations. Amazing movie. You pulled it off in ways I don't think anyone thought you could. It was fantastic. But for Chris, you guys get to play the kind of fish out of water people amongst the group. Can you talk about playing that, how much fun that was? And specifically, Chris Evans, for you, we're used to seeing you as kind of the jokester, the smart ass. But here, you're the straight man to Mr. Downey Jr.
Jokes.
What was that like, being the straight man?
You know, that's his role. It's necessary, and that's kind of why I like it, because I am used to kind of leaning on cracking jokes and being a wise ass. So it's nice to kind of play it straight a little bit, and you know, that's. Yeah, I think even in this film, more than the first Captain America, you know, Steve Rogers has some issues, some conflicts, some trouble, given the fact that he is, you know, a man at a time. But given who he is as a man, his nature, he puts that second. He puts the mission first, and he's just selfless. That's, you know, it's a fun character, I guess.
The fish out of water, yeah. I mean, we all kind of fell into that category. You know, I mean, Josh said it early on, the dysfunctional family, and you know, we somehow belong in amongst the fact that we don't belong anywhere else. Thor, yeah, is from another planet, and I guess his motivation through, you know, the conflict and the villain was far more personal than the rest of them, because it was his brother. So, you know, it was nice to have already shot that film and have that relationship with Tom, and you know, that was sort of my focus anyway. But I think we all, yeah, as I said, we all kind of didn't get along at the beginning, and certainly we're from some other planet or some other world, so it was fun to play that dynamic. Yeah, the last time either one of my brothers tried to take over the world, you know, or the universe, I had to think back and thought, how did I feel? But I mean, you know, when we did Thor, was, you know, Ken Branagh kept saying, you know, let's not get caught in playing gods or what have you. Let's get truthful. You have brothers, and how do you relate to that? And that became the thread through Thor and through this, which was, you know, it's that kind of thing of, look, I can give my brother a hiding and tell him off, but no one else can, you know. And,
but don't you feel that Liam is trying to take over your box office universe?
And I did say that. I said, look, Liam.
Doesn't he need to be corrected in some way?
I know. There's, he's got a few bruises currently from there.
So we're all told to be so well behaved, and I think we all sometimes are bursting at the seams to let it rip, and you know, Bruce Banner gets that moment. And I think part of the joy for people is to actually see that happen.
Doctor, I need you to come in.
What if I say no? I knew what my responsibility was, or I felt it just by making the mistake of going online and reading some of the fanboy responses to the announcement that I was playing the next version of Bruce Banner. That was a mistake. I will never do that again. But I've never had a role be more scrutinized and criticized even before I shot a single frame.
Once he turns green, or once my helmet closes, where he's, you know, in upstate New York and I'm back in LA, and these guys are on the ground, and there was this whole huge sequence after sequence, and there's all the stuff shot in Cleveland, and I don't think we ever had to go to Cleveland for one day, so I kept squeezing the missus' hand last night during these just incredible sequences that you guys did, and just going, they shot a lot in Cleveland.
I met with Joss Whedon, and he said he really liked the Incredible Hulk TV show and what Bill Bixby did with him.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
So I rented those with my 10-year-old son, and after the third episode, he turned to me and said, "Papa, he's so misunderstood."
Nick Fury believes that these unique individuals deserve the love and admiration of the world, who pretty much owe everything to, because there are things out there greater than us.
You threaten my world with war. You steal a force you can't hope to control. You talk about peace, and you kill because it's fun. You have made me very desperate. You might not be glad that you did.
It's almost like an Our Gang movie, you know. Hey, I've got some costumes, I've got some film, my dad's got a studio, let's get together. And we just decided, you know, it was like, we're gonna have fun.
War has started. And we are hopelessly outgunned.
Director Fury, I think it's time.
There's an image in my mind, which was the first day on set that everybody was there together. And it was insane. The picture of everybody in costume, of all of these actors and all of these characters in their chainmail and their capes and their armor, and except for Mark Ruffalo in his grey and white pajamas at the back. But to see everybody finally assembled, it was an extraordinary moment. Just a picture of the Avengers, it was amazing.
That's the most memorable and creepy and funny, and yeah, you're getting to play with Thor's hammer while he stroked my bow. I mean, that's terrible.
You know, my big fear with this, really one of the only big fears I had, was that the whole thing would collapse under its own weight, that we'd spend so much time with costumes and superpowers and special effects that these characters and these actors wouldn't get the chance to... My biggest interest in the Avengers is the interaction between these people. And looking at Joss's body of work and the scripts that he's written in his TV shows, the characters never ever get lost. In fact, those are the moments that shine. So that was to me why he was by far the best choice to mount this. We're confident in our ability to handle a production of this size. We want a helmsman to come in and steer it in unexpected ways and to guide that tone, which is what Joss has done so well.
Power at 400% capacity.
How about that?
I think the exciting thing kind of speaks for itself. That bunch of characters, that bunch of actors playing them, that much money, it's kind of a no-brainer. And the hardest part is and always will be structure. How do you put that together? How do you make everybody shine? How do you let the audience's identification drift from person to person without making them feel like they're not involved? It's a very complex structure. It's not necessarily particularly ornate or original, but it had to be right. It had to be earned from moment to moment, and that's exhausting. That was still going on in the editing room after we'd shot it.
As someone who writes sometimes and loves movies and watches a lot of them, I just didn't think it was really feasible to have this many characters and have them all get to kind of move forward and to have the story of them kind of coming together really work. And if it did work with that many amazing superheroes and movie stars, I felt it unlikely that Agent Coulson would do anything but bring some super coffee to somebody. So when I read it and kind of saw that it was my fanboy a wet dream of an Avengers script, and that Coulson was a big part of it. That was the great day for me. I just kind of drove around the streets with the script in the other seat, just kind of giggling.
Barton's been compromised.
Let me put you on hold.
I made it a point to do a lot of training to prepare myself for this role with weapons and to get myself mainly comfortable using them, and that was the thing that I tried to do the most. In terms of schedule, it's very different. I'm very blessed at my job at How I Met Your Mother. We have a very nice schedule, and this too was very good, but. We had a lot of stunts to do and a lot of fun things to explode.
Hi guys, Dan Devey from thecinemassource.com. Congratulations on the movie, it was absolutely amazing. You were talking earlier about the costumes. I'm curious, was there ever any costume envy, Clark, on set?
Clark? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I think that Agent Coulson could rock some of Agent Romanoff's cat suits. No, that's being silly. You know, there's certain times of the morning when, yes, I do wish I had some of the kind of like, you know, Asgardian armor to walk around in, and God knows the antlers of doom that Loki has. But you know, 13, 14 hours into the day, I'm quite pleased to be in my cool pressed Dolce & Gabbana suit.
Can I just say the inversion of all of what Clark just said? It takes 2 hours to get into Loki's outfit sometimes. And it's even more fun when you fight in it. You kind of, the sweat pools in the chest, and it's a really luxurious experience. But the thing I should say, I want to publicly salute Alex Byrne.
Yes.
Because she, you know, when you have to conceive of costumes of this scale, you're risking ridicule. I mean, there's a monster costumes, and the last thing you want is for it to look silly or camp, and yet it has to look larger than life and heroic. And her work on it was amazing, and she worked with everybody in terms of like making them practical, and so you could fight in them and jump in them and roll around, and my costume particularly does so much of the work for me, because Loki's silhouette is so incredibly menacing, and those clothes are so mean, and it's leather and metal and gold, and but there were days when I longed for the suit, the Dolce & Gabbana one.
What have I to fear? The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves, sort of like a team. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
Yes, I've met them.
Yeah. Takes us a while to get any traction, I'll give you that one. But let's do a head count here. Your brother, the demigod, a super soldier, a living legend who kind of lives up to the legend, a man with breathtaking anger management issues, a couple of master assassins, and you, big fella. You've managed to piss off every single one of them.
That was the plan.
Not a great plan. When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
For me, you know, it's capturing the essence of the comic and being true to what's wonderful about it while remembering that it's a movie and not a comic. I think Spider-Man, the first one particularly, really captured, you know, they figured out the formula of, oh, tell the story that they told in the comic. It was compelling, that's why it's iconic. But at the same time, they did certain things that only a movie can do, and that were in the vein of the comic. I think you see things like The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where they just throw out the comic, or Watchmen, where they do it frame for frame, and neither of them work. You have to give the spirit of the thing and then step away from that and create something cinematic and new.